says you shouldn't have been.
All right, we'd like to welcome Justin Thomas into the interview room here at the 2026 Valspar Championship. Justin, you're making your 264th start on tour, your third back this season, and it's your ninth appearance here. I guess how you're feeling, a couple of good tournaments under your belt. Were you kind of surprised to be in contention last week so quickly back into it?
Yes and no. I think it was similar to a lot of what I, had said pre-tournaments, both Bay Hill and players, is that I felt like, physically in my golf game, I was capable of it, and I had been very confident and liked what I had been working on and seeing and doing, but just actually doing it in competition is completely different, as you could tell over the course of 2 weeks for me. But yeah, I felt very comfortable. I mean, last week was huge for me, and very, very proud of myself, to be honest. I mean, although I'm bummed that, the weekend and especially Sunday didn't go differently or better, but it's a big tournament, and I'd be pleased with a week like that if I was having a normal schedule. So, coming off of six months of off competition, I'm definitely proud and happy of that, and hopefully, just get a little bit of momentum from last week going forward.
You've got a nice collection of top 10 finishes here, but you've been in the mix with a chance to win a few times. And what is it about this golf course that fits your game so well?
I love this place. I hope that it it's a tournament that works in my schedule every year. I love coming here. I think it's one of the most underrated courses that we play. It's very in front of you, and I think it's not necessarily something that looks visually intimidating or difficult, but it's just, if you're not sharp or if you're not managing your game or your emotions well, you can just make bogeys so fast. And it's a place that I enjoy playing because I think it's a old school kind of design. Guys are hitting it in a lot of the same places in the dog legs, and fairways are very, very narrow, and the greens are very difficult. So you just have to control your ball and be smart around here.
Okay, we'll take some questions. Marcus, right there behind you.
You talked about your affinity for this course. Why do you think the field is getting stronger and stronger? I've been coming here a long time, and the strength of the field this year is really, really good. Why do you think that is? Why do you think guys like it?
I think a lot of people feel the same way I do about the course. I think it's a great golf course, and it's just one of those. It's one of many events that we have that it's just where it is in the schedule. And, some guys that they play in Texas and it just doesn't work in their schedule for that reason, or, like to play maybe, I think the majors kind of take the priority for good reason of what you're doing for preparation. So, I mean, this event has an impact on that. For some guys, and it's just I think it's an event. I remember the Travelers being like that back in the day. It's that because of it being the week after the U.S. Open, a lot of guys wouldn't play, but whenever somebody would go once, they would be like, "Wow, this is a great tournament, a fun golf course. It's a great atmosphere," and I think a lot of people have experienced similar things here. So I'm glad that more guys are starting to come here because it definitely deserves it.
Go again.
I don't know if you've addressed this since Brian spoke, but what were your takeaways from, sort of how he presented the PGA Tour, where it's going, and what are you most eager to see? What development are you most eager to see, considering what he said?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't really I didn't watch it. I didn't read anything. I was busy trying to get ready for the players, so I'm probably not a very good person to ask because it's probably not a very good of me. I should have I should at least watch it and listen at some point, but I haven't seen any of it.
And you personally, I mean, you're coming back off an injury, a major injury, and how do you feel now? Doing what you've done in the last few weeks, and what is your plan going forward?
I mean, right now I feel fine. I'm a little tired, to be honest. I mean, the last 2 weeks it was really funny in the physio room on Monday. I went in there and it was very quiet. It's usually very loud because it's a lot of banter and BS going on in there. But everybody just looked like crap, to be honest, myself included. And I just kind of said, I was like, it's quiet in here. And Andrew Novak was on the table, and he was like, yeah, probably just because we got our faces kicked in these last 2 weeks. So, I mean, first thing I thought of is what are we going to be like in, the end of May or that stretch of, Augusta, RBC, Miami, Quail Hollow, PGA. Like, it's just a crazy, crazy amount of not only big tournaments, but extremely difficult golf courses. And that's kind of what you're running into here. So I think it's going to be really, really important for me personally for mentally just, of recognizing that and not forcing the issue or not making any mental mistakes out there because, that's a thing. At least it is for me. So just trying to, rest as often as possible and just manage my way around.
You mentioned the PGA. I mean, you played well at Aronimink in 2018. I think you were 12th or something like that. What do you remember about that course? And are you looking forward to going back? Do you think it suits you? Will you be able to take a peek at it before you get there?
I'd like to somehow to take a peek. I mean, honestly, it was so wet and underwater that I don't think it's a very fair representation of what the course is, and I'm pretty sure they also had a pretty decent renovation since then. So I would assume, like most renovations for a major, it looks completely different, and it was done, for some kind of reason. So I'll be going in there, obviously not completely blind, but I feel like I'll be going in there trying to learn the golf course quite a bit.
And finally, it's being held in Philadelphia, New York, Boston. It's a different kind of vibe, a different kind of crowd. Do you like Northeast golf? Do you remember, visiting the Philadelphia area the last couple of years, and do you take anything away from that?
I love it. I mean, I've won the playoff event when I was at TPC Boston. I mean, that event used to, when it'd finish on Monday, I'd finish on Labor Day. Like the crowds were wild. It's very, very passionate sports fans, and I think that's you're kind of going to get that in the Northeast, and they're going to shoot it to you straight, and that's kind of their MO in a way. I mean, the Truist last year, Philly Cricket Club, I loved. I thought the atmosphere and vibe at that event was awesome. I mean, it was fortunate to play well and have a really good chance to win there. So the energy there, the fans, I thought were great. And I think, anytime I wish that we played up in the Northeast more often. I really enjoyed when the playoff events would kind of go up in the Jersey, New York area. And then we'd always go to Boston after that. And I know it's not the Northeast, but Chicago, like just it just felt like there's a lot of great golf courses, but it's also like the fans love to come out and, it's enjoyable. So long story short, yes, I'm very excited to get back in front of them and play.
Go to Bob.
Don't know how much you had a chance to listen to or read about what Brian talked about a week ago with the players, and if there's any big takeaway from that. But one thing that did come up was he specifically mentioned the signature events going to 120 players. And adding them. I'm wondering what you and maybe if you've talked with some of your colleagues, peers, about that idea, how that is, because obviously that's kind of a shift from where we've been the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I haven't talked to anybody about it. I think. I mean, look, it's hard because I think it's balancing trying to. I mean, not reshape. Or completely change the what the tour looks like, but of tightening it up, if you will, or just making it more black and white, more right in front of you. I think it's weird. It's a strange situation of guys. You have status. You're in some events. You're not in some events. Why? When do I find out if I'm in this? Guys like what and that's strange, right? I mean, I think it's probably trying to get a little bit more, and it's hard for the PGA Tour to go to these sponsors asking for, a lot of money to them, and they don't even know the kind of fields they're going to get because of, who's going to be playing where. Somebody might win some events, somebody might have something going on in their family. Like it's such a different, unique sport than any other sport in that reason. So it's trying to, you can never perfect it, but trying to sharpen it and get it as good as you possibly can. So I think that there's some kind of version of making those fields bigger. I think it's better getting I think cuts are a part of our game. I think it's a big part of the history of golf. But I mean, I have a lot of faith in what Brian's doing, and I think he's very passionate about what he's doing as well.
In your own case, you did have a very small window where you were sort of on the outside looking in. I get the 1 year you just finished outside the top 70, which meant you're not fully exempt for those signature events. Do you recall like what your mindset was then, and did you sort of then get a taste of maybe what, because obviously we expect you to be in those normally.
It was extremely stressful. But I'm extremely proud of the fact that it was a big deal to me that I didn't have to rely on one exemption that year. I played my way into all of them, and that was a big goal of mine because I hated having to ask, but I did ask. I mean, it was like I'm not shameful or like above that. I mean, I want to be playing in these tournaments, and the majority of tournaments they were graceful in saying that, yes, if you need it, we'll have one. But I mean, I didn't get exemptions into some. So it was like knowing that I needed to play into them was comforting, but also good for me. And it's tough, man, because I understand the argument of, giving it to the same guys, whatever, but it's just, how are you going to tell the company that's putting up $15, $20 million that they can't have someone in the tournament because they feel like it's better for their ratings and better for their ticket sales and better for the event in general? Like that's a hard one for me I see both sides 100%, but I just think that sponsor exemptions are a part of I mean, it's a massive part. I mean, what are you going to tell Tiger Woods he can't play if he wants to play? Like, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot if that's what you think. Like, he needs to play in whatever he wants to play in, and that's better for the golf tournament and the game of golf. So it's a tough one to perfect, but working on it, I guess.
Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? Thanks, Justin. Have a great week this week.
Thank you.